there, I'm starting off today's video a little bit different. I'm showing you the finished page first. And the reason for that is after I did the page and I shot all the video, I was working with it and I thought it would be a good idea to tell you where to find a product that I used on the page. I bought mine at Michael's, but I thought, I should give you some different options for purchasing it, and come to find out it's been discontinued. However, that's not a problem. We can deal with that. The product I'm referring to is this little booklet. It's from Heidi Swapp. It's called a photo book or photo stack. It was released at CHA in January, and I bought mine at Michael's a couple of months ago. They may still have them at some of the Michael's stores, and I did find a couple of them online. However, it's obviously an outgoing product. But I found it to be really, really useful way to gather a lot of photos in a small amount of space, or a lot of journaling, or both. And I'm going to show you in a separate video how you can make your own, which you might prefer because you can do your own colors. They're very inexpensive to make, but I wanted to go ahead and tell you that so when you're watching the video and you see this and you think, oh, this is really neat, I want to go out and buy it, you might not be able to buy it, but you can make it. There's also a lot of other things in the video, some misting and stamping and different things going on. So I hope you'll stay tuned for the rest, and then take a look at the video for how to make your own photo booklet. Hi there. This week I have a page that I'm doing this for my Project Life page, but it's also sort of a personal page that captures one particular event. I'm going to be covering my birthday. And my husband and I stopped doing the gift exchange a few years ago because we just decided it was just really swapping money, each of us picking out what we wanted and the other one paying for it. So what we started doing is having what we call the week of birthday. So when it's your birthday, you get lots of little treats and things along as the week goes on. And so that's the week I'm going to capture in Project Life. And I'm using a new product. This is from Heidi Swapp. It was released at the last CHA, and on my sketch it's called a folder. It's not a folder, it's called a photo book. And you could probably make your own, although this is, I measured these papers and it's like 14 inches for each of the papers. So you could make a smaller version with 12-inch paper, but they're really neat in that they have a lot of interesting designs on them, and you can put all kinds of things in here. You can put photos, you can write on them. I chose it for this layout because I wanted some privacy. I wanted to put some things in here that I didn't want everybody to see if they flipped through my book, and also it allows me to capture a lot of information in a small space. So that's why I think it's really good for Project Life. You can put a lot of photos, even very large photos. You can easily put some 4x6s in this space and get quite a few on here without taking up a lot of room. It will create some bulk, but it will fit in an album quite nicely. So I'm going to have the Heidi Swapp photo book here, and I'm going to put it in a vellum pocket. And there's a piece of designer paper on the back in the sketch. I put that there to create some cohesiveness. On my layout, I don't think I'm going to need it because of the type of background paper I'm using and some of the other elements. I just don't think I'm going to need that, but you can put that in or not. I have a single photo for the week, and I've already picked out my lettering. This is some old lettering from Basic Gray, and I have another word that I'm doing and some current lettering from American Crafts, the Forest collection of thickers. I think these are still available in a number of different colors. So I have a bunch of little photos to go here, and then my single photo. I'm also going to be doing some misting on the background. What you see on the sketch, these very faint items, are designed to be either stamps or misted items. One of the things I did for myself for my birthday is bought myself an online class. It's a great class. There's a link to it on my blog, and it's all about mixed media art and doing mists and paints and all kinds of things. So I thought it would be nice to put on my page a little bit of that. I don't want to create the amount of layers and bulk that class does because it's designed to be on a canvas. So on my scrapbook page, I'm just going to do a little bit of it. I chose for the background this watercolor paper from Crepe Paper's Acorn Avenue collection that already has some of that design, and I'm just going to add a little bit to the top of it with some mists, and I've got colors here that work with this page, and stencils. Now where I got this stencil or mask is from the craft department at Michael's. Back in the area where you would, find the paints and things. They have some great stencils, and they're cheaper than they are in scrapbooking. They're a little thinner, but thin is not bad in stencils. In fact, it's a very good thing usually with stencils. So that's a good place to find masks and stencils if you like them and want to, have more options and have a good price point. So the way I'll be doing this, I need to work from the bottom up. I'll be doing my misting first, and then I'll sew on my vellum pocket, and then I can add my other embellishments and elements on top of that. Okay, so I have done some samples of the misting using some extra paper that I had, like this background. This came out of a crepe paper kit, so I had 2 pieces of it, and I'd already cut up one of them. And so I tried out some different mists, and now I'm taking the large stencil out of that 2 stencil pack, and I'm going to mist it first with some October Afternoon mist, the greener color, and I remembered that I wanted to use the small stencil over on the side. It took me a second here to get it positioned because it was kind of bumping into the edge of my box. And I'm misting this with some Heidi Swap Color Shine Mist in the blue-green color that she has. And then I added some of that Maya Mist Buttermilk over the top of it. The darkest color of mist here is from Studio Calico, and I broke a cardinal rule in misting, and that's to have a paper towel at hand when you mist, because you may need to mop up some. And so I had to run off and get one right quick. And I'm just going to add a little bit more design over on the right side with some more of that green from October Afternoon. And I didn't like how this one on the left, it didn't show up enough. So I'm going to add a little more of the buttermilk mist to try to give it a little bit more dimension there. Okay. And since I have my samples, I'm going to try my stamping out on those. I just want to add another layer here with some stamps. These mists and stamps and stuff don't add any bulk, but they add a lot of interest to the layout. And that is some Bermuda Bay ink from Stamping Up. I have this paisley stamp. The dress I'm wearing in the photo has paisleys all over it. I've hardly ever used that. Single stamps I don't tend to use very much, but I think it will work on this layout. The rose, because roses were one of the things I got for my birthday, I'm going to use that on the layout. And I have this bird stamp, and I really love this bird. I think it's from Inkadinkadoo. I've had it a long time. And I'm using a very subtle color, so it's just, I don't want to make a big deal out of the bird on the layout. I just want a kind of a soft image there. So I have some ideas, and now I can start placing some of these elements. I'm going to put the rose up at the top. Kind of highlight it at the very top of the layout. And then I want to do these doily stamps and the paisley down at the bottom below my photo in a blue-green ink. It's Bermuda Bay from Stamping Up. And these doily stamps happen to be from My Mind's Eye. Of course, there's gobs of doily stamps out there. And what I'm trying to do here is soften that large white, or what turned out to be a white circle where I masked it off. And the center didn't stamp very well, so I'm just going to take one of the smaller doilies and stamp in the middle. And then I decide to add that to the other circle elements. And you don't see it very much, but it does add a little subtle layer of color and soften what looks like white, but just is what's really showing of the background. Now the bird I would really love to have over on the right side, but I'm afraid it's going to get covered up by the photo book, and so I've decided to try it on the vellum, and we'll see how it works. If it doesn't come out good, I can always use a different piece of vellum. I stamp it and I really like it. And I think it's just going to look so pretty over top of the photo book. I like it so much I may add some more stamping to the vellum before I'm finished. Alright, now I'm starting to pull the page together, ready to put the words on after I've added the stitched down the pocket. And I'm going to add a little bit more stamping to it before I stitch it down. I also know I'm going to need something on the front of the photo book, and I have a photo of the four of us at dinner, but it's a really good picture and I think it's going to end up on its own page. So I found this picture of myself when I was real young, standing on my parents' front porch. The picture of me over on the left-hand side of the page is standing on our front porch for this birthday, so I thought that those two went together really well. And originally I was going to mat my photo in cardstock, but I've got so many interesting elements here I thought a cardstock mat would just be too stark. So I'm taking some tapes, and this is I guess it's supposed to look like a ribbon tape from Making Memories, and I'm putting it on the side of the photo, and some washi tapes and different things just to kind of go along with that artsy kind of look, but everything in the monochromatic colors. If you ever want to try these sort of artistic looks, and they're not something you normally do, and they never used to be something I normally did, if you do a monochromatic color scheme, it's a lot easier. You know, you don't have colors competing with each other. You don't have to worry about that. If you just do everything like I'm doing in blues and greens, or everything in shades of pink or whatever, then it's just going to be a little bit easier, and you don't have to worry so much about how the elements work together. Or you can play with textures and patterns and not have to worry about color. I've put some of the tape over on that I used on my large photo underneath the small photo to balance. The only thing that's bad about these tapes, they take forever to get the backing off. Alright, and I'm ready to put the date in. I'm going to put it actually on the folder, and it'll be underneath the vellum, but it'll just be kind of a subtle look there. This page might get pulled out of my Project Life album at some point and put in my own album, since it's mostly about my birthday, and of course I'll be doing one for my husband's birthday later on in the year. So I want to be sure I got the date in there. And so that'll show through the pocket right next to the word week. I'm about ready to put all the rest of the stuff on the photo book, and a few embellishments next to the word week and underneath my picture. And here I've done the photo book. I've added some photos, some journaling. I put some of it on ledger paper. I wrote some directly on the book where you would be able to see it. And it keeps everything kind of private, but still a great way for me to capture some thoughts. And I got a lot of journaling in thanks to that little photo book, more than I usually do. This rose ribbon came from Joann's. I remember when I bought it, the clerk was like, "What are you going to use this for?" Because I think I bought a half a yard of a couple of different colors, and I told her it was for scrapbooking, and she was kind of surprised. But you can get a lot of pretty ribbons in the fabric department if you like trims. And they're usually, again, they can be cheaper than scrapbooking, certainly different. And the stick pin and those embellishments came from Stamping Up, part of the Pretties kit. Okay, so here's our completed page, and let's take a look at the sketch. Single photo, some stamping and misting around the edges of the background paper, and I did not use this piece of designer paper to link everything together. I really felt like I had enough because I ended up matting my photo with some tapes of different kinds, and then repeated those a little bit on the Heidi Swapp photo book. And that's here, and as I showed you earlier, I have added some things to each of the pages. There's also space on the back. I could add a little bit more journaling or a photo if I wanted to. So that's my page. Thank you for watching, and I hope you'll check out my blog for more information and for links to other videos that I've done.